Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth and I am back again doing the March 2016 monthly tarot horoscope for everyone with their ascendant, sun, or moon in the lovely Pisces. Now, a while ago, just so you know, I talked about Pisces being quite the dreamer, and I did a little hashtag called blowing bubbles for Pisces, because their dreams were like bubbles that just kind of wafted away. And lo and behold, I decided, I was so inspired, I went and I got this little bubbles, blowing bubbles, and I'm going to blow some bubbles for you literally here. And some of you are going, oh my gosh, she is batshit crazy. But you know what? These are for you, Pisces. These are for you. Because nobody else in the zodiac can really blow bubbles like you. That was pretty cool, actually. I got a lot there. Literally hitting my tablet. There we go. All those bubbles are for you. And the thing about Pisces is very constantly dreaming. Pisces is the dreamer. And I think that's it for right now. Pisces is a dreamer, and so everybody should take a page from your book, actually, for dreaming more, because Pisces can really dream big. They are the biggest dreamers, and that's actually a really good thing. And I'm going to take a moment to wipe my screen down now and come right back. So now that I officially blew some bubbles for you, Pisces, I am going to be doing your horoscope here. I'm going to be laying out a spread for you. I'm just going to shuffle my cards a little bit more than I had before. While I do that, I want to give you an update of what's going on. Basically, my regular general readings are going to continue to be posted around the 1st, 2nd, or the 1st of every month. And those are not going to be rented out. Those are going to be available to everyone. So you don't have to worry. This video, it's going to basically, these type of videos are going to be continuously available to everyone. As far as I can see in the foreseeable future. Am I going to be doing mid-month readings? Most likely not, because I got sick in February for about a week. Excuse me, and so I didn't get to record all the videos that I wanted to record, and so I'm behind on my recording schedule. I may, and I was anticipating trying to get out the March sex and relationship videos, but I may not in time for March. So, and those will be rented out. If I do more sex and relationship videos, they will continue to be rented out. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be posting those or getting to those just because of time constraints. So, that's my spiel. For those of you who haven't had a private reading with me, feel free to check out my new website, oracledaphne.com. Just as an FYI, my calendar page does not notify me if you've posted, you're saying, hey, I like this time. That's not how you schedule a reading with me. How you schedule a reading with me is you email me, elizabetholson31@gmail, saying, hey, it's Friday, at 2 p.m. available, and I say yes, and that's it. I send you an invoice, you send me payment, and you call me at the time of the reading. Very simple. That said, thank you guys for being patient with me getting out these videos. I appreciate it, and for those of you who haven't seen me before, welcome to my channel. Excuse me. My throat is still not quite back up to snuff from when I was sick, but I'm getting there. Interesting. Okay, sorry, I'm just taking it in. There's a lot to take in here, Pisces. Okay, so again, this is for everyone with their Sun, Sun, or Moon in the lovely Pisces. And, you did get some similar cards to Aquarius. So again, you know, Pisces, Aquarius have a thing. I don't know what it is, but they have a thing. So, you know, you maybe have been in a, you may have been in a relationship with an Aquarius in the distant past. So say you're dating, you may have dated an Aquarius in the past because you have the Chariot as the foundation, and the Aquarius also got this. So, you know, you may have recently broken up with an Aquarius too, because Aquarius, it was showing in my Aquarius video that this was in the recent past as well. So it also could be a Cancer too, because the Chariot card to me is usually an Aquarius or Cancer sign, sun sign usually. But this is also coloring the whole reading. The Chariot, you know, and I'm starting again, for those of you who are new to my channel, I don't necessarily start in the beginning of the spread of the Celtic Cross spread. I'm starting with the Chariot as the foundation. Similar to how I started with the Aquarius video, because I felt like it's very important. It talks about what went on in the distant past, but it also talks about how it kind of colors the reading. And because, again, there's obviously cards here from the Aquarius video, I want to address those first. So yeah, so distant past, you may have been in a relationship with an Aquarius. Or you may... Or this person may just be still in your life, but sort of in the background, I want to say. Like, in the background. Like, they're there, but, like, you're not really interacting with them too much, okay? It's very interesting because this is the happily ever after. There's a fairy tale kind of ring to this card. I'm really noticing this castle in the sky, the dreamer, okay? So it's very applicable, you know, me blowing bubbles for you, because Pisces is the dreamer. And it's sort of my way of giving props to you for continuing to dream and have that, that perspective, which other people don't necessarily have. I mean, Taurus, for instance, has this down, you know, now, here and now, grounded perspective. They're not thinking big picture. In fact, they're not really thinking much at all. They're thinking about, you know, the money in the bank, the food on the table, what the kids are making, what they're making for kids for school. They're not thinking big picture, okay? So, so Pisces, I feel like, you know, it's good that you have this approach, that you're seeing the world in this way. The Chariot as a foundation, also things happening very, very, very fast. Everything's happening very, very fast. So it's not just one, it's not one thing. And because it's I want to say it's your birthday, for a lot of you. Happy birthday. And I want to say that there's a lot of good things in this reading, but there's a lot of heavy things. So I'm just going to kind of go through it one at a time, okay? So you have the Page of Swords, like Aquarius did in the recent past. And the Page of Swords is being lifted up out of hardship, or wanting to be lifted up out of hardship, or separating, or wanting to separate from a partner, okay? The Page of Swords is also looking after a child, because the Page of Swords is holding a child. So females, this is the single parent. This can also mean you having kids or looking after your kids. But there's a definite separation here. There's an issue, there's conflict in the center of the reading, okay? So the conflict is the Two of Swords in reverse. And this is hardcore. Like in the upright, it's disagreement, okay? It's rejection. It's non-communication. It's not seeing eye to eye with somebody. In the reverse, it's lashing out at somebody, you know, things getting to a point where you're lashing out at them, where you're saying hurtful things, where you're like, if somebody says, it's sort of like, you've shut down, like if you've shut down and you're saying, I don't want to talk about it, like because you know you're going to say something mean, but then somebody pushes you forward, and then when you do say it, you're like, fine, I'm just going to tell you, I think you're a fucking bitch, blah, 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 and it just comes out of your mouth, you know what I'm saying, because that person pushed you to that point. When a Pisces shuts down, like this is you being really shut down. Okay, this is you really not wanting to discuss things, because you know, like if you discuss things, things will get really heated and really like argumentative really quick, and you know that you're not going to see eye to eye anyways. This is you having a major disagreement with someone. Okay, whether it's your spouse or whether it's someone in the world. This is you having a disagreement. This is also pushing somebody away because you don't want somebody to get too close to you. This is not wanting to let somebody in. This is being emotionally unavailable for a very long period of time, okay? This is like where somebody wants a relationship with you, or maybe they've wanted a relationship with you for a long period of time, and you just haven't seen it, and you just don't see it going anywhere, or you just like, maybe this is a disagreement that you cannot come to terms with. You can't see eye to eye with somebody on this. It's sort of like, it's fundamental. Like it's what you call a deal breaker, okay? So say like, for instance, like, okay, I'm just going to say it's personal. I know people don't like this when I say this, but I'm going to say this. One of my deal breakers is drugs. I won't date somebody who does drugs. I don't care what, any kind of drugs, you know, pills or substances. I won't date anybody who does drugs, period. Like there is no question. That will never change. Like for me, that'll never change. I did at one point and I felt like it was just wrong for me. I did a couple of times actually. And then it was constantly something that we were arguing about, and like something the other person was trying to like always like get me to see. Like they were always like, well, why do you think it's so bad? And blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, they were constantly trying to change my mind, but like, that's something that won't change. Because that's a fundamental thing for me. So you may have like some kind of like fundamental difference. This is irreconcilable differences when it comes to like a partner. You have irreconcilable differences where you don't see eye to eye with someone, or you don't see eye to eye with your partner or your spouse, girlfriend or boyfriend. And also ladies, if you're seeing a potential in someone and they've told you no like many times, you're not getting the message. There's a message that's not getting through. Like you're not communicating in a healthy way. So any message that comes out of your mouth or your partner's mouth or to someone, like I want to say you're not in a place where you can communicate in a healthy way right now. Like this is like you just kind of losing your temper. This is you pushing people away. This is you rejecting someone. You know, being a little bit of like a commitment phobe. Some of you like who are single, this is you being a commitment phobe, especially guys, okay? I'm not saying it's all guys here, but I'm saying like, I feel like this is very masculine. There's a very masculine vibe here. So for those of you guys, male Pisces, you may be just in a place right now where you're just feeling like you don't want to let anybody in. Like you've been hurt, you don't want to let anybody in, there's disagreements, you don't want to communicate, or your partner's not communicating with you, and it's just like you can't take it anymore, and then like you finally just like, that's it. You just like tell them what you think. You just like, they've pushed you to a point where you just are like not going to hold it in any longer. You're really just going to let them have it. Like this is letting somebody have it who's asking for it, okay? So this is like very much like someone who's antagonizing you. Like this is someone who's like trying to get to you, or someone who's trying to like even like bully you. For those of you who are younger, like, you know, this in school, like even like bullied in school, or like, you know, so those who have kids, like you may be watching this for them. This is like, you know, them being bullied or pushed around. Like, you know, maybe it's like you're sick of being pushed around in a relationship, or you're just sick of being pushed around, and you finally like lose your cool, and you say what's really gonna shut it down, you know. And in a way, it needs to happen so that you can move on. And it is a karmic lesson. It's sort of setting the boundary. Pisces has a very hard time with this. Like it's really like, because Pisces doesn't like want to have the conflict, So like they avoid it, and so but because they avoid it, their partner never gets any kind of like understanding of where things are at, and never gets really any kind of strong footing or foundation of like how to move forward. And so things don't move forward. Things actually start to slide backwards, and it's unhealthy, and it's an unhealthy thing. And then your partner just gets very frustrated, and like then they just start to like lash out at you, and they push you, and they start to like egg you on and push you to a point where it's like you can't handle it anymore, and you're just like, fine, if that's how you're going to be, if you like are going to force the issue, I'm just going to say blah blah blah, or I'm just going to leave, because that's, I mean, it's meeting up. The Two of Swords in reverse is meeting up with this Page of Swords. The Two with the Page, this is an irreconcilable difference, and they leave, okay? Maybe they've already left, or maybe they've wanted to leave. But it's, the thing is the Two of Swords is like in the center of everything. So it's like, this is like the catalyst for some major shifting. But it's a karmic lesson. It's, you do have the Eight of Cups, which is my favorite card, okay? So it's crazy because you have like one of a very challenging card. The Two of Swords is very, very challenging. Like I said, it's a disagreement. It's where you're not seeing eye to eye with someone, and it's like you're not seeing eye to eye for a very long time, okay? And then the Eight of Swords and Eight of Cups, the Eight of Cups in reverse is completing karma. It's having learned the lesson. It's getting to that point of completion and ascension. And because Pisces is at the very tail end of the zodiac, it's naturally what you have to learn, or it's naturally your state. Like, this is you, okay? And this is a very positive Pisces card, because to me, it represents where you're not living in your shadow any longer. You're not resistant to the change. You're not resistant to good communication. You're not resistant. You're not sliding back. You're moving forward. To me, this is ascending. This is getting to a point of spiritual awareness and knowledge that's greater than where you are before, okay? So I'll show this to you. This is completion, perfection, and harmony, okay? This is also being a very old soul and having gone through a lot, and wanting, it can be in some cases wanting to find your soulmate, or wanting to be with someone that you have a strong connection with. Maybe you thought that this person that you're in a relationship with was your soulmate, or maybe you thought that, I'm not sure what you were thinking about it. I just know that the situation is in the beginning of March very stressful, okay? Because somebody has pushed you to a point where maybe you finally learned. Maybe you've learned from a really negative experience of what not to do. And you've transcended it, and you're moving on from it. In the best case scenario. Okay, so it could also be, if you're single, there could be someone who you've really, really liked for a really long time, but like it's like a long distance relationship, or you haven't been able to connect with them, or, you know, this is also like too, like breaking up and getting back together many, many times, where it's like you are like trying to get back with this person who you think is your soulmate, or you're trying to communicate with someone who's impossible to communicate with, or you're still trying, like Pisces. So like you are still really trying to fix the problem, and you're regressing instead of moving forward. And what you need to do is be like this Eight of Cups, which is ascend. You need to move on. You need to get away from this person. You need to let it go. You need to move forward. You need to find peace within yourself and get to a place with it that's healthy. This is breaking up and getting back together, or like having a fight and trying to fix it. Having a fight and making up, like kissing and making up after like many times of getting into that place of non-communication. So the pattern I'm seeing is like this. You, Pisces, with a partner where communication sucks. You try to talk to them, they don't want to talk to you. Or they try to talk to you and you don't want to talk to them. There's pissed off feelings. or anger or upset. You know, there's some kind of upset or some kind of disagreement that you have, and you either fail to discuss it, fail to put closure on it, fail to get it to a point where you can resolve it. It's a fundamental disagreement. Either maybe it's about how to raise your kids, or maybe it's about life, or maybe it's about, you know, again, something that's a deal breaker for you and it's not going to change. They are refusing to change. You or both are refusing to change. So because of this, you're going over and over a problem, and you're not able to get to a place of resolution. And you need to, because that's what the energy is saying. Saying, don't rehash. There's no point in rehashing. And actually, at this point, trying to fix it is going to make it worse. There is nothing you can do to fix it. That's it. I don't see it being fixable. I see it as being one of those things where, like I said, where I feel like if I was in a relationship, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who does drugs. Not now, and not ever. And I'll never be okay with it. It's part of like one of those fundamental things that part of my belief system, and part of like what I don't want, you know, in a relationship. So, because I just feel like it always causes conflict. So you may actually have a partner who does drugs too, or you may have somebody, like, they may have bad habits, or they may have some issues there too. I don't know why I'm using that as an example. It could be applicable to some of you too. But I feel like the main part is that you are trying to fix something that's unfixable. It just won't change. You're hoping it'll change, and maybe you've kissed and made up several times because you don't want the conflict. But like ultimately, like, you don't have the same fundamental beliefs as your partner does. For a lot of you, you're just not on the same page. And okay, so for some of you, you're in a relationship with someone who's who's very fiery. Okay, so again, it's either Taurus, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo male. Could be also Capricorn too. Did I say that? Capricorn too. Because this is the King of Wands. And the King of Wands, in traditional tarot, is a fire sign male, okay? But, you know, I've seen it as being a Taurus quite often. I also see it as an Aries or a Capricorn. I usually see it as one of the fire signs, though. I usually see it as the Leo or the Sagittarius. And this is someone who wants to get their way. To me, this is being determined to get what you want. Someone who really wants to get their way. This is that energy of like really wanting to wear the pants. The King of Wands wears the pants. The King of Wands is like, no, I'm in charge. This is what I want. And there may be some issue there within your relationship. Somebody wanting to get their way and then the other person like not, for whatever reason, wanting what you want. Again, leading to this disagreement, which is in the center of everything. It's in what I call the heartbeat of the reading, the Two of Wands in reverse. It's not the greatest card. It's really a difficult card, but you have the best card, which is the Eight of Cups, crossing you. So I feel like you're going to start fresh. You're going to move on from this, and that's what you need to do. You need to start fresh. You need to move on. For those of you who are in basically a situation that's not fixable, this is moving on. For those of you who are in a relationship and you're having just like a major disagreement, I feel like you can come to a place of resolution with it. If it is not a fundamental difference. And I'm talking if it's not a deal breaker. Deal breakers are things that like the deal is off. Like you can't go forward. It's something that'll never change. Why bother trying to change it, you know? That's the thing. And if you're with someone who's very stubborn or someone who wants to get their way, male or female, doesn't matter. They're not going to change. They have their own way of seeing things. So it's just kind of important, I want to say, for you to accept things for how they are. That's a major thing. And start fresh, because you have the Judgment card in the immediate future. So again, this feels like irreconcilable differences, either legal separation or legal resolution, or the Judgment card is literally sitting in a courtroom. You know, for a lot of people, it's sitting in the courtroom, getting, you know, filing paperwork, things like that. You know, the King of Wands also very often is an attorney, okay? So for some of you, you need to get an attorney and you need to talk with them and figure out what's the answer, you know? You have the Ten of Swords in the position of your emotions, and this is being very drained, okay? This is getting vamped, okay? This is being heartbroken, really upset, feeling like there is no energy, like there's nothing, like there's so many tears in your aura, so much, so that you've spread yourself so thin. They're showing me like this giant piece of bread and there's mayonnaise on it, but it's like so thin. It's not like one of those mayonnaise commercials where there's like this thick layer. By the way, it's one of those weird things. I don't like really thick mayo. Message me if you're like one of those people. Like, I like a thin layer, but not emotionally, okay? A thin layer of mayo emotionally is not good, okay? Because that means you're not in a healthy emotional state. This is exhaustion. But this is exhaustion leading to you know, an emotional breakdown. So like your exhaustion is going to lead to like negative emotions. So, you know, it's also feeling not loved and supported, not loved. Like you're not feeling loved, like you're feeling unloved or unlovable, or you're feeling like, you know, or this could also be somebody in your life that's feeling this way too. But because it's in the position of emotions, I feel like this is you. And it's not a great place for Pisces to be. Now, this is coming sort of mid-March, okay? So this you may feel this in the beginning of March, but I feel like this is more mid-March, okay? Same with the Judgment card. There may be some kind of legal thing that kind of seals the deal where you start over, similar to Aquarius, where there's some kind of starting over in March. And, you know, emotionally, you're just really, your emotions are connected to your physical health, your energy levels. So you need to really regroup as far as physically regroup. You're not getting you're tired. You know, you're not getting and you're tired. I want to say you're tired of these problems. You're tired of the same old issue. You're tired of like not getting resolution. You're tired of like, you know, somebody constantly, like arguing with somebody constantly. Because you do have this card, which is about arguments, and to me this is the boxing ring. You know, two people are going at each other's throats. You see they're very angry. In some cases, this could be somebody also who's, I don't know, I want to say this is like, I want to say this is the fight with the parents, okay? Okay, so this is, like, if you have kids, this is you and your spouse, okay? If this is, like, your parents arguing, this could be parents also, you know, or even in-laws arguing. This could be family squabbles, too, for some of you. But leading to, I pulled another card, we're leading to heartbreak, okay? Leading to absolute, like, done heartbreak. So don't let it get to this point. This is not healthy for you. This is not healthy at all, okay? This is where you need to stop. You need to stop, like, what you're doing. Step away from this person. Step away. But then again, to me, this is like completing some kind of karma. So if you're in a relationship that's really, really bad, there's something that you're learning from this karmically. Maybe this is something that, like, you know, you need to grow from. Okay, that's the bottom line. You're going to grow from it. You can't see it. You're devastated. You're hurt. You're tired. You're tired of it fighting. You're tired of saying things that hurt your partner. You're tired of your partner constantly saying things that hurt you. And it's unhealthy, but like you are going to learn from it. You are going to grow from it. So that's the takeaway. Some of you are like, well, it doesn't matter. You know, this is just a sucky situation. But it does matter that you're going to grow. That's what you're here to do. I mean, Pisces are in your last life, right? So it's like, Pisces, you know, this is your opportunity to learn. This is it. And this is like clearing up any like last things. This is the hardest thing, though. To me, this is the hardest test is like the last lesson to be learned. It's that awful relationship from hell, you know, that totally breaks you. That's like this broken, like, you know, that just makes you really, really, it's just very painful, you know. And I'm sorry that you're going through this, because I don't like to see this in the position of emotions, not at all. But I do think that it is like a test that you're going to learn from. Now, moving on, you do have the Knight of Wands coming in from the outside. And this is, you got two cards about moving quickly. The Chariot plus the Knight. The Chariot is someone who's like moving very, very fast, but they are looking where they're going. They're looking straight ahead. You know, they're driving their unicorns so fast. The unicorns are like, no, 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 we're going as fast as we can, you know. And it could be, you know, you pushing limits as far as your car, you pushing limits as far as how fast, you know, you want things to go, maybe being frustrated that things aren't happening faster. The Knight of Wands, however, isn't looking where they're going, okay? The Knight of Wands is not paying attention. There's something that's distracting you. This can also be someone checking you out, you checking somebody else out, someone who's like looking at you. You know, you could be looking at somebody, checking them out. There's something about that there too. The Knight of Wands though too, again, you have the King and the Knight. To me, they're could be the same person. You know, that you may be Pisces that has some Leo or some fire in your chart, some Sagittarius or something very strongly in your chart. And there's this element of, you know, aggression. There's this element of confidence, sometimes overconfidence. You know, can be conflict because of just who you are. There's not much else for me to say about this Knight right now. To me, this is someone, this can be a guy, if you're single, that's not really going to be that person that stays in your life. To me, that Knight doesn't really stick around for too long. The Knight comes in and bangs your brains out and then leaves the next day and you don't see them ever again. So it's just like, that's who they are, okay? You may be, if you're a Pisces and you have a lot of Leo, Sagittarius, Aries or something like that, this can also be the Scorpio or Cancer too. I forgot to mention that. But if you're that person, then that may be, it may just be like you're like chasing after someone or you have your eye on someone. To me, this is like I, you know, have my eye on you, you know, kind of thing. I'm going to move on from it though. So we have the Eight of Pentacles in, but you need to, okay, so the main thing is you do need to slow down and pay attention to where you're going. Make sure you're doing that, okay? I think it's more of a person than I think of something that you need to do, though. You do have the Spider in the position of your attitude. Some of you may be looking for work. Some of you may be thinking a lot about work. Maybe this is getting a second job or third job. Some of you may already have like 1 or 2 jobs. You know, but your focus is getting out of this crazy, your relationship, this relationship, I feel like if you're in a relationship, is taking up like all of your energy. Like they're sucking you dry. The Eight of Pentacles, the Spider is the critter that dies, the insect, I say, that drains blood. Literally, they drain your blood. And to me, the Ten of Swords is being drained, okay? So you may have someone in your life, I feel like it's your partner, okay? I feel like your partner is a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, and they are draining your blood, okay? They're a vamp, okay? You need to watch out for this, because if you're in a relationship with a vamp, what I call a vampire, not like actual vampire, but someone who's just like very draining and like they don't care. They don't care. Like, I feel like what's draining you is arguments and the like things that aren't going your way, but I feel like it could be work that's also draining you. To me, it could be both things. Your job is draining you. You know, if you have kids, they could be draining you. Kids are very draining. I feel like you're getting drained from all sides. I feel like it could be your kids, your partner, your work. You're just like really, really tired in March. They're really, usually you're either the boss or you're the critter that's sort of hanging there waiting for your blood to be drained. I feel like you're just getting drained from all sides, and it's an unhealthy situation. Your partner is of lower energy than you, so they're naturally draining. So like the minute you open your mouth to talk to your partner, you're getting drained. That's just how it goes. It's unhealthy. Now the outcome originally was the Eight of Swords, and I pulled several other cards to see like what's really going on. The Eight of Swords is the karma card. So for whatever reason, you are not learning the lesson. You're not, because the Eight of Cups to me is having learned completion, resolution, harmony, peace, getting to that point of, you know, things are good, you know. But the Eight of Swords is sort of sliding back into that place of the karma not being completed, feeling like you're restricted, feeling stuck, feeling like you can't move. Now you got the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. The two eights are not good together because the Eight of Pentacles is a lot of times feeling stuck, like you're the critter, like you can't get out of a job, or like you're doing a job to do it and it's draining every day and it sucks fucking ass. And then you're also in this relationship that's fucking sucking ass because you're like, if I leave, there's going to be all these financial issues that we're going to have. We're not going to be able to communicate either. There's other things. There's other things stopping you, I want to say. And you may be living, there may be like self-imposed restrictions. Like you may be in a prison of your own making where you're just like unwilling to get out of something because you're choosing in a way not to, or it's not good enough. Like it's the person that creates their own prison that says, okay, well, I have to stay in this situation because, you know, if I get out of this situation, I'm going to be poor. Or if I get out of this situation, I'm going to have to move someplace and I don't want to move. Or if I get out of this situation, I'm going to have to make a change, or I'm going to have to quit a job, or I have to look for another job, and I don't want to do that. So you're like, I don't want to do this because of that. I don't want to do that because of this. And it's a constant thing in your head where you're like, I'm just stuck. And so like nothing changes. And so you don't make any change, but you have to in order to ascend. This is the dark cloud hanging over your head too. In some cases, this is fear and doubt hanging over your head. There's something, you're like afraid, so it's sort of like you're afraid to make changes. You're feeling stuck towards the end of March, really stuck in two different ways. There's two different ways here. It's not just one way you feel stuck. It's like in like multiple ways. You maybe feel stuck in a relationship and it's like your partner is draining your blood because they're the vampire. And then like, you know, you may feel stuck in a job because for whatever reason, you feel like if you move to a different job, or if you try to get a different job, there's an element of insecurity. So you're worried, okay, if you do make the change, you're not going to have any money and you can't pay your bills and all this other shit goes through your head. So the thing is, you need to start thinking about things in a positive way and manifesting the positive things that are happening. You need to be very patient and calm. Both the Spider and the Eight of Swords are about patience. It's about patience, knowing that you will be successful in time. The Spider waits for the critter to get stuck in its web very patiently for indefinite periods of time. And the Eight of Swords is someone who's caught, like the swan that's caught on the briar patch, you can't literally get out. And someone comes along and helps. So this is asking for help, knowing that there will be a way out of the situation. You may want to talk with a good counselor. You may be talking to me at the end of March because I see myself as the hummingbird. The hummingbird in this image is here and shining the light on the situation, showing you the bigger picture, showing you and helping you to untangle yourself because you're in a mess. To me, it's a mess. And what you need is like a little bit of hope. You're looking for a little bit of hope, a little light at the end of the tunnel. That's the Hermit. Okay, but it's also a time of reflection. It's not a time of action. You've got this Knight of Wands here, which is like rearing to go energy. You know, got the Chariot, things happening, move very, very fast. But it's like you're burning yourself out. You may end up burning yourself out sometime in March. You may be burnt out already. But to me, it's like being very burnt out because you're trying to like, it's like you're trying to do so much. Here's another thing. You don't need to prove to anybody how much you're worthy. Okay, if you're trying to like earn somebody's love, like say you're in a relationship, right? And you're trying to prove yourself to them that you're good enough for them by doing everything, or, you know, like even like a lot of women do this, but this, you could be a guy doing this too. Okay, you're trying to prove to your partner that you're worth it, or that you're worthy, or that, you know, they should love you more, they should change, or they should whatever. And the thing is, you're worthy no matter what of love. So you need to stop trying to prove yourself to them by overdoing it, because you're just draining yourself and it's not healthy for you. And they should love you no matter what anyways. They should. Chances they don't. Maybe they do, but they should. You may have feelings for somebody else too. There's also somebody else in this coming in later in March. To me, this is the Queen of Cups. This could be your partner, may not be, but this is having feelings for someone. Feelings. This is the Ace of Cups. This is new feelings, the beginning of feelings. This is also the drop of promise. You know, the drop of promise is that raindrop on your nose when you're in the desert. It hasn't rained in like 100 years and it starts to rain. You're like, yes, and it's going to pour. And it's pouring money. Your your bank account's been a desert for too long. And this is, I want to say, if there's a new person that you're meeting up with, they're going to bring prosperity into your life. So I feel like if you, this could be a business partnership too for some of you. And for some of you, it's a new relationship. A new relationship is going to bring more prosperity. The same old isn't going to work for you, I feel. The situation for a lot of you is really, it's just a mess. And you may be kind of scared of getting hurt, because you got the Nine of Swords also. You may be scared of getting hurt again, okay? The Ten of Swords is also fear of getting hurt. Holy terror of getting hurt. But I feel like there's too many other cards that already talk about somebody that's hurting you constantly, arguing, fighting, things like that. So for the most of you, you're in a relationship and there's somebody that's constantly like getting to you. But like this to me is like a new relationship, and you're just afraid of getting hurt again in a new relationship. But you can't, I would say, don't let that stop you, because I feel like the Queen of Cups is a really beautiful person. And every time I've seen the Queen of Cups show up, the Queen of Cups is the person that's very loving, very soothing to be around. Someone who's just naturally healing. She can be, you know, psychic medium. She can be someone who's just very like a deep person, and someone who's very artistic. She likes to sing. She likes to dance. You could be the Queen of Cups, because Pisces, you know, this is a video for Pisces, and you may have feelings for somebody else, okay? That's not your partner, or that you could be meeting somebody else in the future. But I feel like guys-wise, I feel like this is like you meeting someone specifically new towards the end of March, or even the beginning of April, okay? Something, or it might not even be like a full relationship. It just may be, you know somebody, you may be checking somebody out, you know, checking somebody out, and that person, maybe you start talking to towards the end of March, and, you know, you start to have feelings for them, or there's a relationship that starts to develop. So I would not be afraid of this person. This person is a beautiful person, and there's so many good qualities about the Queen of Cups. I want to say that she's in a place of deep trust, and also you need to be in a place of deep trust as well. She's in a place of deep trust, and that trust is trusting that everything is going to work out. And so this kind of person has learned a lot of lessons, and so therefore she's not gonna start the same war. She's not gonna start a war with you. She's really in a different place. She's in a place of peace. She's in a place of trust. She's in a place of joy. She's loving life. She's living her life. This is the person that you're going to, I want to say, spend the rest of your life with. This is an opportunity to be with someone who really is a good match for you. Someone who's just very, very loving and very soothing to be around. So they don't have this, they don't have this abrasive. There's no abrasiveness there. I'm not saying the Queen of Cups. I mean, Scorpio does have a stinger. I'm not going to lie. Cancer, they have their moods. But no one is perfect. But at the same time, I feel like the situation that you've been in is very unhealthy. And I feel like this would be more of a healthy relationship, I'd say. More, it's magical. I want to say it's a magical relationship. More magical. On that note, this is a very long video. Thank you guys so much for being patient with this. Hopefully I won't have to cut it down too much. And definitely stay tuned for more videos. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, Google Plusing. I'll be back again for April videos. If you don't see my mid-March videos, don't panic. And if you don't see my March sex and relationship videos, also don't panic. I am going to be trying to get more videos out too as soon as possible. So stay tuned, and I send you big hugs. Big kisses. Check me out on Twitter, hashtag blowing bubbles for Pisces, and I will talk to you guys soon. Alright, take care. All the best. Bye.